What if the people you trust most are the ones keeping you stuck? We're taught that loyalty is a virtue, that family and lifelong friendships should last forever. But what if that loyalty is costing you your growth? How often have you stayed, sacrificing your dreams, downplaying your success, just because leaving felt harder? Here's the truth. Not everyone is meant to stay. And sometimes the only way to grow is to let go, even when it hurts. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let's talk about 7 signs it's time to walk away before they drag you down any further. Sign 1. They constantly undermine you. You achieve something meaningful. Excited, you share it, expecting support. Instead, you get a smirk. That's nice, but it's not a big deal. Don't get too confident. At first, you ignore it, but it keeps happening. Their doubt becomes your hesitation. Their dismissal becomes your silence. I've been there. I once shared a project I had worked on for months. Their response: "You always start things, but never finish them." I laughed it off until later, when I sat down to work, and their words echoed in my mind. That's the power of subtle doubt. It lingers. It shapes you. Here's the truth. People who undermine you aren't being honest. They're projecting their own insecurities. Your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Instead of improving, they pull you down. Not with insults, but with small jabs. Harmless on the surface, destructive over time. The longer you stay around them, you hesitate. You shrink yourself. You stop trying. And that's exactly what they want. So now you have a choice. Stay small to protect their ego, or reclaim your confidence and surround yourself with those who celebrate your success. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You can't control how they react, but you can control how much space they take in your life. So ask yourself, who genuinely supports you, and who always makes you feel small? Because if someone constantly undermines you, it's not a habit, it's a pattern. And if you allow it to continue, it won't just affect your confidence, it will limit your future. Are you willing to sacrifice your potential just to keep them comfortable? Or are you ready to step away and become who you were meant to be? Because in the end, you don't need their approval. You only need belief in yourself. Sign 2. They mock your goals. You share a dream, a goal, something that excites you. Instead of support, you get laughter. Really? You think you can do that? Let me know when you give up. They don't ask why it matters. They just dismiss it before you even begin. And suddenly, doubt creeps in. I know that feeling. Years ago, I shared a project I cared about. I wasn't looking for validation, just a simple, go for it. Instead, I got a smirk. Sure, but you never finish anything. I laughed it off. But later, their words echoed. What if they're right? Doubt isn't born inside you. It's planted by those who gave up on their own dreams. Because the truth is, they're not doubting you. They're projecting their own failures. Your ambition reminds them of what they never tried. And if you succeed, they'll have to ask themselves why they never did. So they tear you down, not because they think you'll fail, but because they fear you'll prove them wrong. And if you let their words sink in, your dream dies before it even starts. Years from now, will their opinion have been worth it? Or will you regret not believing in yourself? Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Decide who you are, decide what you want, and go after it, relentlessly. Because in the end, you don't need their belief, you just need your own." Sign 3. They are inconsistent at first. They seem like a great friend. They check in, make plans, talk about loyalty. Then they disappear. No explanation, no message, just silence. Weeks later, they reappear. "Hey, I miss you." Like nothing happened. And just like that, you're pulled back in. Because maybe this time will be different. But deep down, you know the truth. This cycle never ends. I had a friend like this once. When life was easy, they were all in. But when things got tough, gone. No calls, no replies. Then, months later, let's catch up. And every time I did. Because I told myself, that's just how they are. But here's what I didn't realize. Their inconsistency wasn't a bad habit. It was manipulation. They knew exactly what they were doing, disappearing just long enough to make me question myself, reappearing just in time to keep me from walking away. And the worst part, the longer I allowed it, the more it changed me. I started second-guessing myself, making excuses for them, believing maybe I was the problem. But tell me this. When has someone's inconsistency ever built trust? When has their silence ever made you feel valued? It doesn't. It never has. It never will. Because inconsistency doesn't build relationships, it destroys them. Epictetus said, "Seek people who elevate your soul, not people who make you question your worth, not people who only show up when it's convenient. Real friends are consistent. Real relationships are reliable. Anything less isn't worth your time." So here's the truth. If someone treats you like an option, stop making them a priority. If they only reach out when they need something, let them figure it out on their own. And if they keep disappearing, let them stay gone. Because the right people, they don't come and go, they stay. Sign 4. They only call when they need something. You haven't heard from them in months. No messages, no check-ins, nothing. Then, out of nowhere, your phone rings. For a moment you think, maybe they miss me. Maybe they want to reconnect. But within minutes, the truth is clear. They don't want to see how you're doing. They don't care what's been happening in your life. They need something. Money, advice, a favor. And suddenly, you're useful again. I had a family member like this once. They never called unless they needed help. "Hey, can you help me out? I hate to ask, but I really need a favor. You're always good at this. Can you figure it out for me?" And every time I said yes, because that's what a good person does, right? Until I realized it was never mutual. When I needed help, silence. When they needed help, urgent calls. That's when I knew this wasn't a relationship. It was a transaction, because real connections aren't built on need. They're built on mutual care. If someone only reaches out when they need something, they don't see you as a person. They see you as a resource. And the moment you stop being useful, you disappear from their world. The worst part, the longer you allow it, the more it drains you. You feel obligated. You feel guilty for saying no. And before you know it, you're exhausted. Mentally, emotionally, even financially. So ask yourself, when was the last time they checked in just because they cared? When was the last time they gave without expecting something in return? If you can't remember, then you already know the truth. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you, not those who drain you, not those who only show up when they need something." Relationships should be mutual. There should be balance. And if someone only calls when they need help, they're not in your life because they value you. They're in your life because they can take from you. And that is not love. That is not friendship. That is manipulation. So here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your time, energy, or resources if they never offer theirs in return. If someone only calls when they need something, Stop answering. If someone only values you when it benefits them, walk away. Because the right people? They don't just reach out when they need you. They reach out because they care. And that makes all the difference. Sign 5. They hold grudges. Some people never let things go. A missed call, a forgotten birthday, a disagreement that should have been resolved months ago. But instead of moving forward, they keep score. They hold on to every mistake, every misstep, ready to use it against you when it benefits them. And slowly you realize, this isn't a relationship. It's a prison. I had a friend like this once. No matter what I did, they had a list of my past mistakes. Every disagreement, brought up again in the next argument. Every time I wasn't available, proof that I didn't care. And no matter how much effort I put in, it was never enough. Because for them, the past wasn't something to learn from. It was a weapon. And that's the thing about people who hold grudges. It's not about what you did, it's about power. Because as long as they keep you feeling guilty, as long as they remind you of your mistakes, they stay in control. The longer you stay, the more you walk on eggshells, afraid to speak, afraid to be yourself, afraid to speak up, afraid to set boundaries, afraid that no matter what you do, it'll be used against you later. That's not love. That's emotional blackmail. Marcus Aurelius said, "Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." Imagine carrying a burning coal in your hand. You hold on to it, convinced you're punishing them. But the longer you hold it, the more it burns you instead. That's what grudges do. They don't hurt the other person. They just keep you in pain. So if someone in your life is more focused on keeping score than growing with you, they are not someone you need to keep close. Because a real relationship doesn't make you feel like a prisoner. It makes you feel free. And that is the difference between someone who wants control and someone who actually wants to grow with you. Sign 6. They are envious of your success. Success reveals the truth about people. Not just about you, but about those around you. When you accomplish something, pay attention. Do they celebrate with you, or do they go silent? Do they lift you up, or do they tear you down? Because sometimes the people closest to you aren't rooting for you, they're hoping you fail. I had a friend like this once. Whenever I struggled, they were there, full of advice, fully engaged. But the moment I succeeded, silence. Oh, cool. Must be nice to have that kind of luck. At first I ignored it. Maybe they didn't realize how dismissive they sounded. But then I saw the pattern. They weren't upset about my wins. They were upset that I was moving forward while they were standing still. Because here's what most people won't tell you. Envy isn't admiration, it's resentment. It's the sarcastic jokes, the backhanded compliments, the sudden coldness when things go well for you. And the more time you spend around people like this, the more you start shrinking yourself. You downplay your achievements. You hesitate before sharing your success. You make yourself small just to keep them comfortable. But tell me this, why should you feel guilty for working hard? Why should you apologize for becoming better? Because real friends, they don't compete with you, they grow with you. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." People who envy your success don't want what you have. They just don't want you to have it. Your success is a mirror, and they don't like what they see. But here's the truth. Your success has nothing to do with their failures, and if someone can't be happy for you, that's their burden to carry, not yours. So ask yourself, who claps when you win, and who goes quiet? Because the people who truly care about you, they celebrate your victories like they're their own, and the ones who don't, They were never really in your corner, so stop shrinking yourself to make envious people comfortable. Your success isn't the problem, their mindset is. And once you remove their negativity from your life, you'll realize just how high you were meant to rise. Sign 7. They encourage bad habits. Not all enemies tear you down. Some disguise themselves as friends. They don't criticize you. They don't attack your dreams. Instead, they tempt you. They make bad decisions feel normal. They call self-destruction fun. And before you know it, you're sinking with them. We all know someone like this. The friend who convinces you to spend money you don't have. The one who pressures you into one more drink, one more bad decision. The person who makes skipping the gym, breaking your goals, or losing focus seem harmless. Come on, don't be boring. One time won't hurt. You've been working too hard, just relax. At first you go along with it, but soon one night turns into many, one excuse leads to another, and before you know it, you've lost control. Here's what you need to understand. They're not doing this because they care. They're doing it because they need company in their own bad habits. They don't want to change, and if you start improving, it forces them to face their own lack of discipline. So instead of leveling up with you, they pull you back down. Because as long as you're making the same bad choices, they don't have to feel guilty about theirs. And the worst part, the longer you stay, the harder it is to break free, because habits are contagious. Spend time with people who prioritize discipline, growth, and purpose, and you will rise. Spend time with those who normalize recklessness, laziness, and bad choices, and you will sink. Because the people around you don't just influence you, they define you. Stoic perspective. Epictetus said, "Keep company only with those who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." A real friend. They don't push you toward destruction. They challenge you to be better. They push you to grow. They hold you accountable. They inspire you to level up. So ask yourself, who makes you stronger? Who makes you weaker? Who supports your discipline? Who makes you feel guilty for wanting to improve? Because the people you surround yourself with will either build your future or destroy it. At the end of the day, you either choose discipline or let them choose destruction for you. And if someone is constantly leading you away from the person you want to be, maybe it's time to walk away. Because once you remove the distractions, the temptations, and the people who thrive on bad choices, you'll finally have the space to become your best self. And that is a life worth living. Now you see the truth. The people in your life, they either lift you up or hold you back. They either push you forward or keep you stuck. And sometimes the hardest but most necessary decision is to walk away. Not out of anger, not for revenge, not to prove a point, but for self-respect, for peace, for growth, because your future is more important than their comfort. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. If you surround yourself with doubters, you will doubt yourself. If you stay around small minds, you will shrink to fit in. But if you surround yourself with those who challenge and uplift you, you will rise. Every time. So ask yourself, who is holding you back? Who is making you question your worth? And most importantly, are they worth your future? Let that sink in. Now, drop a comment below. Who do you need to walk away from? And if this message spoke to you, like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the truth is, the people you keep in your life will shape the person you become. So choose wisely, and never, ever apologize for putting yourself first.